Dr. Xylor was known throughout the galaxy as a brilliant alien scientist. His green skin glimmered under the bright lights of the laboratory on the planet Zorth. Xylor loved studying different species and their unique abilities. He had seen many fascinating creatures, but nothing intrigued him more than the human he had just received. The human's name was John, a young man who had been captured during a recent expedition. John woke up in a strange room. The walls were smooth and shiny, and strange machines beeped and hummed around him. Confused, he looked around and saw a tall figure with big eyes and long limbs. The creature was unlike anything he had ever seen before. It was Dr. Xylor. "Welcome to my lab," Xylor said, his voice soft yet firm. "You are safe here." John's heart raced. He was scared but also curious. "What do you want with me?" he asked, his voice shaky. "I want to study you," Xylor replied. "Humans are known for their resilience, and I want to see how you react to different substances. Today we will start with a small experiment." Xylor prepared for the experiment. He had a vial filled with a glowing green liquid, a toxic metal that he believed would be deadly to most species. John felt a chill run down his spine. He remembered stories of what happened to those who were injected with such substances. But he was determined to show he was strong. "Don't worry," Xylor said, noticing John's fear. "This is just a test. You are very brave to volunteer for this." John nodded, trying to mask his fear. He knew he had to stay calm. As Xylor approached, John took a deep breath. The alien gently injected the glowing liquid into John's arm. A sharp pain shot through him and he winced. "There you go," Xylor said, watching closely. "Let's see what happens." John felt strange. His body tingled all over. He could feel the poison coursing through his veins, and he was afraid. What if he didn't survive? He had to fight it. Minutes passed, and Xylor recorded data on his screens. He expected to see John's condition worsen quickly. But to his surprise, John began to feel a strange energy building inside him. Instead of collapsing, he stood up, his face showing determination. "How do you feel?" Xylor asked, astonished. "I feel stronger," John replied, confusion mixing with newfound strength. He moved his arms and legs, testing his body. "I don't know why, but I feel like I can take on anything." Xylor's eyes widened. This was not what he had expected. The toxic metal was supposed to weaken John, but instead he seemed to thrive. Fascinated, Xylor hurried to his instruments to monitor John's vitals. "Your body is reacting differently than any other species I've tested," Xylor murmured, writing notes frantically. "You're exhibiting extraordinary resilience." John smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "You see, humans are tough. We survive against all odds." Xylor was intrigued. This human was unlike any other. He had seen creatures succumb to poisons in seconds, yet John was standing strong, almost glowing with energy. It was incredible. As time passed, Xylor continued his tests, checking John's heart rate, blood pressure, and other readings. Everything looked normal, but John was anything but ordinary. "I must run more tests," Xylor said almost to himself. He felt a rush of excitement. "This could change everything I know about humans." "Just remember, I'm still human," John said, his voice steady. "I can handle whatever you throw at me." Xylor nodded, realizing that John was not just a test subject. He was a partner in discovery. Together, they would uncover the secrets of human resilience. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of an incredible journey that would challenge everything they thought they knew about life, survival, and the bond between species. As Xylor and John continued their work, a unique friendship began to form, one that would change the course of their lives forever. As the days passed in the lab on Zorth, Dr. Xylor's curiosity about John grew stronger. He had never encountered a human before, and John's survival after the toxic metal injection was a mystery that excited him. Every morning, Xylor would rush to the lab, eager to learn more about his fascinating subject. John, still adjusting to his new environment, was also curious about Xylor. The alien doctor had treated him with kindness, and their unusual friendship was blossoming. They spent hours talking, and John shared stories about Earth, his home planet, while Xylor explained his own world and its wonders. One day, as Xylor prepared more tests, he asked, "John, what do you think makes humans so strong?" John thought for a moment. "I believe it's in our nature. We've faced many challenges throughout history, and each time we learn to adapt. It's about survival." Xylor nodded, taking notes. Survival. Yes, that's an interesting concept. In my studies, many species have strong instincts, but they often fail when faced with something they cannot control. You humans seem different. Encouraged by Xyler's interest, John smiled. We don't give up easily. We fight for our lives and our loved ones. This sparked something in Xylor. He wanted to explore the limits of John's resilience further. Let's conduct a new experiment, he proposed. I want to see how your body reacts to other substances. This time, I'll use a small amount of the toxic metal mixed with a few different elements. Is it safe? John asked, slightly anxious. Absolutely, Xylor reassured him, although he was more excited than ever. You are unique, and this will help us both learn. I will monitor you closely. With John's agreement, Xylor prepared the next set of tests. He mixed various substances with the toxic metal, creating colorful liquids that bubbled and shimmered. John watched in fascination, feeling both nervous and eager. When Xylor finished preparing the mixtures, he carefully injected the first one into John's arm. Almost immediately, John felt a rush of energy. The alien doctor studied him intently, noting every change in his body. How do you feel? Xylor asked, his voice filled with anticipation. I feel different, John replied, closing his eyes to focus. Like my senses are sharper. I can hear the machines beeping more clearly, and I can see every detail in this room. Xyler's excitement grew. Fascinating. Your senses are heightened. I wonder how long this will last. Hours passed, and John continued to feel the effects of the injection. He could hear Xyler's heartbeat and the soft hum of the lab's machines. Everything seemed brighter, sharper. He realized that this wasn't just an experiment, it was a journey into understanding what made him human. As John shared his experiences, Xylor listened carefully. Tell me more about your world, he urged. What makes humans so special? John smiled. We are adaptable. We learn from our mistakes and work together to solve problems. We have a rich history filled with stories of survival, love, and courage. Xylor recorded everything, his mind racing with ideas. He had always thought of aliens as superior, but John's words made him reconsider. Perhaps humans had something valuable to teach the galaxy. In the days that followed, Xylor and John conducted more experiments. They tested John's strength, agility, and mental endurance. Each test revealed something new, and their bond deepened as they shared triumphs and challenges. One afternoon, after a particularly grueling test, John collapsed onto a bench, panting heavily. I didn't think I could push myself that hard, he admitted, smiling through his exhaustion. Xylor approached him, concern on his face. Are you okay? I don't want to push you too far. I'm fine, John assured him. I just didn't realize how strong I could be. This is incredible. Indeed, Xylor replied, his eyes sparkling with excitement. You are teaching me more than I ever imagined. Together we are uncovering the mysteries of life. As they continued their experiments, both Xylor and John realized they were breaking boundaries between their worlds. They were no longer just scientist and subject, they were friends embarking on an extraordinary adventure. Every day brought new discoveries, and their curiosity grew stronger. What began as a simple experiment had transformed into a quest for knowledge and understanding. Little did they know, the challenges ahead would test their friendship and the limits of human resilience like never before. Days turned into weeks, and John and Dr. Xylor developed a strong friendship. The lab on Zorth had become a second home for John. Each morning, he eagerly anticipated his time with Xylor, where they would experiment and share stories about their lives. One sunny day, as Xylor prepared for another round of tests, John noticed a strange machine in the corner of the lab. It was different from the others, with colorful buttons and flashing lights. What's that? John asked, pointing at the machine. Xylor turned to look, his eyes lighting up with excitement. Ah, that is a memory extractor? It can capture and project memories from different beings. Would you like to try it? John's curiosity piqued. Absolutely. But how does it work? Simply sit in the chair and focus on a memory. I will activate the machine and it will project your memory onto the screen, Xylor explained. John nodded and took a seat. He thought hard about a memory from his childhood. He wanted to share something special with Xylor. Closing his eyes, he recalled a sunny day at the beach with his family. He could hear the waves crashing and feel the warm sand between his toes. As Xylor activated the machine, the room filled with light. A holographic image appeared on the screen, showing John as a young boy, laughing and playing in the waves. Xylor watched, mesmerized. This is beautiful. You look so happy, he said, his voice filled with awe. John opened his eyes, smiling. That was one of my best days. My family and I had so much fun. We built sand castles and swam in the ocean. Xylor turned to John, his expression serious. You humans have such strong emotions. This memory is filled with joy. It makes me wonder what it feels like to have a family. John's heart softened. It's amazing, Xylor. Family means everything to us. They support you through good and bad times. Xylor nodded, reflecting on John's words. He realized he had never experienced such a bond. I want to understand more about this concept of family. Can you tell me about your relationships? John leaned back, his mind racing with memories. I have a brother and a sister. We used to fight a lot, but we always had each other's backs. My parents taught us to stick together no matter what. I have never had siblings, Xylor replied, a hint of sadness in his voice. I was raised in a different way. Our kind focuses on individual achievements. Maybe you can experience what it's like to have a family, John suggested, excited about the idea. You could come to Earth one day. You'd meet my family and see our traditions. Xylor's eyes widened. Earth? That sounds incredible. I would love to see your world. They spent the next few hours discussing Earth and Zorth, exchanging stories about their cultures. John talked about his favorite foods, music, and sports, while Xylor shared details about alien festivals, technology, and the beauty of Zorth's landscapes. Your world sounds fascinating, John. I would love to taste this pizza you speak of, Xylor said, chuckling. John laughed. You'd love it. It's a mix of flavors. I think you'd enjoy trying new things. As their friendship deepened, Xylor began to open up about his own feelings. Sometimes I feel lonely, he admitted, his voice quiet. Even with all the science and technology, I lack true connection. John nodded, understanding the importance of friendship. You have me, Xylor. We are friends now. I won't let you feel lonely anymore. Xylor smiled, a sense of warmth filling his heart. Thank you, John. Your friendship means a lot to me. They spent the rest of the day laughing and bonding. John shared more memories from Earth, and Xylor eagerly listened, fascinated by each story. As they exchanged laughter, the laboratory transformed from a place of experiments into a space of friendship and understanding. That evening, as they wrapped up their work, Xylor had an idea. Let's create something together, a project that combines our knowledge. We can use your resilience and my technology to help other beings. John's eyes sparkled with excitement. That's a fantastic idea. We could help those in need using our strengths. And so their journey continued, built on a foundation of friendship, curiosity, and shared dreams. As they worked together, they discovered not only the strength of their own species, but the power of friendship that could bridge even the widest gaps between worlds. Little did they know the challenges ahead would test their bond, pushing them to the limits and beyond. As John and Dr. Xylor continued their friendship and experiments, an unexpected darkness loomed over Zorth. The peaceful atmosphere of the lab was about to be shattered by a new threat. One bright morning, John was busy organizing his notes when he noticed Xylor staring at the screen with a troubled expression. The usual sparkle in Xylor's eyes was replaced with worry. John approached him, concern growing in his chest. What's wrong, Xylor? John asked, placing a hand on the alien doctor's shoulder. Xylor turned to John, his voice serious. There is news from the Council. A group of rogue aliens has been attacking nearby planets. They are causing chaos and destruction, and Zorth could be their next target. John's heart raced. What do you mean? Why would they attack Zorth? We are peaceful here. I know, Xylor replied, his brow furrowing. But they see our advanced technology as a way to gain power. They believe that capturing Zorth will give them control over the galaxy. John felt a chill run down his spine. What can we do to stop them? We need to warn the Council and prepare for an attack, Xylor said. But the Council is busy with their own matters. I fear they may not take this threat seriously. Determined to help, John straightened his back. Then we should act! We can't wait for someone else to protect Zorth. I have some ideas that might help us prepare. Xylor looked intrigued. What do you suggest? Let's gather information about these rogue aliens. We can create a defense plan based on what we learn, John proposed. I can help you analyze their patterns and weaknesses. Together we can make a strong case to the Council. Xylor nodded, his hope rekindled. You're right, John. Your human perspective might give us an advantage. Let's start now. They worked tirelessly, diving into the data Xylor had gathered on the rogue aliens. John analyzed their past attacks, focusing on their strengths and weaknesses. He noted that they often targeted planets with weaker defenses. "Look here," John said, pointing at the screen. "They usually attack when the sun is setting. That's when their ships can blend into the darkness. If we can anticipate their moves, we can set traps and defenses to protect Zorath." Xyler's eyes widened in realization. "That's brilliant. We can use our technology to create automated defenses that will activate at sunset. We can also alert the Council to take this seriously." With renewed energy, they began developing their plan. They designed traps using the advanced technology of Zorath, creating automated drones equipped with weapons to guard key areas. John's creativity mixed with Xyler's knowledge resulted in innovative strategies. As they worked, their bond grew even stronger. They shared ideas and laughed together, but there was an underlying tension. The threat of the rogue aliens loomed large, and time was running out. Just as they were finalizing their plans, an alarm suddenly blared throughout the lab. The lights flickered, and the screen flashed red with warnings. "Xyler! What's happening?" John shouted, panic rising in his chest. "It's the Council!" Xylor replied, quickly typing commands into the console. "They've detected an incoming ship. The rogue aliens are here." John's heart raced. "We need to warn everyone!" Xylor nodded, urgency filling his voice. "Let's broadcast a message to the entire planet." They quickly activated the communication system, and Xyler's voice echoed through the speakers. "Attention! We are under attack! Everyone must prepare for defense. Gather in the designated safe zones." As the alarm rang out, John felt a mixture of fear and adrenaline. He knew they had to act fast. "Xylor, let's activate our defenses and get to the command center." "We can't let them breach our planet!" Together, they rushed to the control room, ready to implement their plan. The once peaceful lab had transformed into a command center where they would face their greatest challenge yet. With their friendship and determination fueling them, John and Xylor prepared to confront the new threat. Little did they know that the rogue aliens were not just a danger to Zorath. They were a test of their bond and courage, pushing them to fight for their new home and each other. The chaos of the attack shook Zorath as alarms blared and the sky darkened with the shadows of the incoming ships. John and Xylor stood side by side in the command center, determination etched on their faces. They had prepared as much as they could, but the reality of battle loomed ahead. "Xylor, do you have a plan for the defenses?" John asked, his heart pounding. "Yes," Xylor replied, tapping furiously on the console. "We will activate the automated drones and set traps around the perimeter. We must protect the city and our people." John nodded, feeling a surge of adrenaline. "Let's do it! I'll help coordinate the drones. We need to make sure they're positioned in the right spots." They worked together seamlessly, guiding the drones to strategic locations around Zorath. The machines whirred to life, their lights blinking in anticipation. John felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He had never been in a situation like this before, but he was ready to fight for his new home and friend. As the drones took their positions, the sound of explosions echoed in the distance. John's heart raced. "They're attacking! We need to hurry!" Xylor activated the communication system again. All citizens must remain in their safe zones. "We are prepared to defend Zorath!" Just then, the screen flickered, showing a live feed of the rogue aliens' ships descending upon them. John's stomach dropped. The ships were larger and more menacing than he had imagined. He could see armed beings ready to invade. "Here they come!" John shouted, gripping the console. "We have to stay focused. Our defenses are strong." Xylor nodded, his eyes fixed on the screen. "We will not let them take our planet." The drones surged into action, firing energy blasts at the enemy ships. John watched in awe as the bright lights lit up the sky. The rogue aliens returned fire, but the Zorathian drones were fast and agile, evading many of their attacks. "Look!" John pointed at the screen. "We're holding them back!" "Yes," Xylor exclaimed, "but we need to do more. We can't let them get too close." As the battle raged, John felt a growing sense of urgency. He remembered his childhood lessons about teamwork and bravery. "Xylor, what if we could lure them into the traps we set? It might give us the upper hand." "An excellent idea," Xylor replied, grinning. "Let's lead them toward the perimeter where the traps are activated." With newfound hope, they quickly adjusted the drones' movements, guiding them to draw the enemy ships away from the city center. The rogue aliens followed, eager to capture their target. "Now!" John shouted as they reached the traps. The drones triggered the defenses, activating laser barriers that surrounded the rogue ships. The enemy was caught off guard, trapped and vulnerable. "Yes! We did it!" Xylor cheered, his excitement contagious. As the rogue aliens struggled to escape, John took a deep breath. "Let's finish this. We need to take down their command ship." Together, they focused their drones on the largest ship in the enemy fleet. "Fire everything we have!" Xylor commanded. The drones unleashed a powerful barrage of energy blasts. The command ship trembled under the onslaught. John felt a surge of hope as the ship began to crumble, its defenses failing against the combined strength of their efforts. Finally, with one last blast, the command ship exploded in a brilliant display of light. Cheers erupted from the Zorathian forces as they witnessed their victory. "We did it!" John shouted, hugging Xylor in excitement. "We saved Zorath!" Xylor beamed with pride, his eyes shimmering with gratitude. "You were incredible, John. Your bravery and ideas made all the difference." As the battle subsided, the citizens of Zorath emerged from their safe zones, applauding the efforts of John and Xylor. They had not only defended their home, but had also formed an unbreakable bond that transcended their differences. In the days that followed, Zorath began to heal. John and Xylor worked together to rebuild what had been lost, sharing their cultures and knowledge. The people of Zorath welcomed John as one of their own, grateful for his courage and friendship. One evening, as the sun set over Zorath, John and Xylor stood atop a hill, overlooking the city. The sky glowed with vibrant colors, symbolizing a new beginning. "Thank you for everything, Xylor," John said softly. "I never expected to find a home here or a friend like you." Xylor smiled warmly. "And I never knew the power of friendship until you came into my life. Together we are stronger." As they watched the sun dip below the horizon, John knew their journey was just beginning. With Xylor by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges the universe might throw their way. Together, they had proven that unity and friendship could overcome even the greatest of threats, forging a bond that would last a lifetime.